Welcome back to Iowa Live. Of course, with Memorial Day coming up, we wanted to visit with our good friend Sarah Maniscalco Robinson, the founder of Iowa Veterans Perspective. Hey, Sarah, how are you?
Hi, Lou. I'm great. Thank you so much for having me today.
Well, we wanted to make sure we talk to you with the holiday coming up this next weekend, at the end of next weekend. And first of all, let's explain to everybody what Iowa Veterans Perspective is all about.
Of course, yes. The Iowa Veterans Perspective is a nonprofit that I founded about 3 years ago. And I travel the state of Iowa and I interview veterans. Of course, that was a little bit difficult in 2021, but we have a renewed want to get out there and get into the public and start interviewing some of those veterans so that we can start sending more packets out to the Library of Congress for historical preservation, and also getting high school students involved again so that they can learn how to interview the veterans and be a part of preserving their own history.
Well, how did all the restrictions change the way you did business last year?
Definitely changed everyone's lives. But one thing that I did was I started focusing less on the World War II veterans, which were really a generation that I didn't want to expose to the virus, and started interviewing more global war on terror veterans that are my age that feel more comfortable coming into my house and doing interviews one-on-one in the she shed using social distancing, of course. But all we really did was change the focus. And with the 20th anniversary of September 11th coming up, it's really important to remember the global war on terror veterans also.
Now, when you say you sit down and chat with these folks that have experienced all this, for those who have never seen it, what type of things do you talk about?
I do almost an entire life story of the veteran because veterans shouldn't be known just for their time in war, but also why they serve our country, what it was like growing up in Iowa, and all the important things that happened during their life. So if you spoke with a World War II veteran, they remember the Great Depression. They remember the day that Pearl Harbor was bombed. But if you talked to generations such as mine, they remember September 11th and how it changed our country. So when you talk to a veteran, you're not just getting stories of their life, you're getting stories of our entire country's history.
Right, and this is a video documentation that will live on forever, isn't it?
It is. And I heard a great saying once that says that once a person dies, the library of their life closes forever. So all of their stories are gone forever once they pass away. And it's my mission to help preserve those stories so that they can live on.
Yeah, speaking of those stories, do we have any idea how many interviews you have done over the past 3 years?
I feel like, well, I'll go way back to 1997 when I originally joined the Iowa National Guard and started doing interviews without realizing that I was even going to start a nonprofit. I looked at them recently and I'd say probably about 500.
Wow, that is amazing. So 500 stories that we have and we're not going to lose. That is incredible. So what's planned ahead in 2021?
2021 is going to be a banner year for me because I am putting a lot of my money into making a very important documentary, which was brought to me during the quarantine and the pandemic, which is the veteran suicide problem. So I'm going to start interviewing veterans who have survived their own suicide attempt, as well as family members that were left behind after a veteran has completed suicide. And it's going to be a passion project that I really want to work on and use some of these other interviews to tell the story of veterans and what kind of things are causing this problem.
All right, so that's your next project there. But what's the next in line for the Veterans Perspective? What do you have in the future?
We have amazing things happening in the next 5 years because, as you know, it takes a little bit of time to get some traction in the nonprofit world, but we're starting to get seen by different organizations to give us grant money, and it's really grown amazingly. And now we have become more of a statewide name where I can go up to places like Guttenberg and Sioux City and amazing towns all over Iowa and continue to tell those stories, but incorporate it into more of the high schools and do that kind of thing as we continue to grow. So I foresee in the next 5 years, I'll definitely come back and see you, Lou, because I know you'll still be here in 5 years. And maybe my number will be in the thousands by then.
Oh, that is amazing. Now, people want to find out more about your organization and see some of these interviews. Where can they go?
I have a YouTube channel. Just look up Veterans Perspective on YouTube, or just visit my website, vetstories.org. And then I also have Facebook, and you can find me on all the different social medias.
Sarah, thank you so much for visiting with us today.
Thank you, Lou.
We appreciate your time, and we thank you for everything you do, keep helping us keep the memories alive of those people that have served.
Thank you.
All right. All right, folks, that is going to do it for us today. Hopefully see you back here tomorrow on Iowa Live. It will be a Friday, and it will be a lot of fun. Have yourself a great day.